As you know, we are talking about the principles of language curriculum design as proposed by Nation and McAllister in their book, Language Curriculum Design. So we'll continue investigating the aspect of monitoring and assessment. So this category of 20 principles contains only 2 principles, which are about, as you could see here, it's about how to monitor and how to assess learners' progress. Okay, let's look at principle 1. That's been classified as ongoing needs and environment analysis. So let's have a look, read this principle. Although it's a bit lengthy, but it's worth reading. The selection, gradation, presentation, and assessment of the material in a language course should be based on a careful consideration of the learners and their needs, the teaching conditions, and the time and resources available. So this principle, as you could see yourself, emphasizes various aspects of language teaching. These aspects are about how to select and grade whether it's lexical or grammatical material. And then we should be careful while designing a language program, just to take into account the learner's needs. Now, you could recall yourself, perhaps, as you know, we have already discussed the needs analysis and environment analysis. Needs analysis is actually undertaken to know learners' specific needs about the language, and the environment analysis is about determining some of the contextual factors such as teachers, learners, adoption factors, societal, cultural, or religious. So overall, this principle emphasizes how a language program can cater well to the various needs of learners, right? And this also touches upon the element of time and resources. So in order to monitor a program, we as language planners or teachers need to ensure the time element and the resources element. To what extent the program gonna be, how long it's gonna be, and what resources are there for language teachers, right? So let's have a look at principle 2, which is about providing feedback. Okay, learners should receive helpful feedback, which will allow them to improve the quality of their language use. So this principle is about developing language competency with the help of feedback. Feedback, just for your information, this is one of my favorite topics. This is the topic of my doctorate research. I'm looking at how feedback can contribute to the academic writing skills of non-native English speakers. So this element, this tenet of monitoring and assessment emphasizes certain key points. So it's important first to consider what means by feedback. Feedback is, it's sort of communication between the sender and the receiver, and the message conveys certain points to the receiver. So, and in language learning, it's about, identifying the gaps between the existing and the desired performance. So it's been defined, in various ways, and there are various definitions of feedback. You might Google out yourself, and but the element, focused in this principle is the key word is monitoring. how monitoring, I mean, feedback can help create a sort of monitoring element amongst learners. By monitoring, when we think of monitoring, we just think about question. So monitoring is, inculcating or developing certain strategies where learners can think about how they speak. So, I mean, we as language teachers can state clearly to our learners what to be careful while speaking or while speaking right. So these are certain conditions or various ways whereby feedback can be influenced. There are, as you know, certain types of feedbacks. I mean, I'll just briefly discuss positive and negative feedback. Positive is just about, appreciating students, giving them some reward, and encouraging them and inculcating spirit of self-esteem. And on the other hand, negative feedback or direct feedback could be damaging to the learner's self-esteem and might make them a bit more hesitant or make them shy. So feedback emphasizes 4 skills, I mean, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And this principle also sort of, emphasizes how to make the assessment criteria explicit to the learners. I mean, on what grounds the students gonna be judged. So principle 1 and 2, this monitoring and assessment contains only a couple of principles. These are about ongoing assessment, and then we've got feedback. So overall, they play pivotal role, and we can see, I mean, once as language teachers, once you are in the classroom, you could yourself see their significance for language teaching.